Do you want to be a small town developer one day and build small multifamily? Well, so do I. And if you're watching this, you're watching my journey to buy my first lot and developing my first quadplex, right? My 2026 goal is to build a quadplex, right? Not build, but develop. There is a difference between building and developing. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing on a weekly basis to get to my first lot. It's not going to be easy, but I am very determined to get there. I have a good amount of resources, good amount of people to go to. But at the end of the day, it's all about the work that I put in. So if you're watching this, follow along with my journey to buying my first lot. Today, what we're going to focus on is my direct to seller campaign. So, yes, you can work with realtors. Yes, I am working with the realtor and brokers as well, and a bunch of people to help you find listings. But at the end of the day, most likely, your best way for you to get a great deal is to reach out to sellers directly, right? And the fun part about it is some sellers don't know that they're ready to sell yet, but everyone has a number and it also comes to circumstances. So in the last video, I told you what areas I want to focus on. Davenport, Florida, Haines City, Polk City, basically Central Florida. And what I've done since then is I've created a free trial for PropStream, which I need to remember to take off just to see how it goes. Got a list from there. I got a list of properties and some addresses, and now it's time to work on the direct to seller campaign. So, what I'm going to show you today as I share my screen, share, boom, boom. So you can see I just got Mailchimp, and Mailchimp is a way for me to reach out to people by email, text. And if you look at the text, I am waiting to be confirmed, right? So I just created this. You can see the support over here. Are you sure when exit the chat? Yes, exit the chat. So eventually I'll just campaign, send emails to people. I just set up all this good stuff. I don't want to share too much information. I don't ever want to know all my business. But let's go back here real fast. Let's share the right screen. Let's share desktop. So so what I did was I got on PropStream and I got a list of properties, right? So I got a list of properties. I'll go really fast. So I got a list of properties, and on PropStream, it does a beautiful job with giving a great amount of information. So I am not a sponsor for PropStream by any means, but you can log in, boom, goodness. There we go. So let's type in a random city. Let's just type in Overland Park, Kansas, because I don't want to give you too much information of the cities that I want to go to. But if you go here, off market, because that's what I want to focus on, and then we can kind of do a filter. Let's do free and clear, property details, vacant land. Boom. So we just got a list of 8 properties, right? 33,000. So let's do something small because that's a large lot. And to build a quadplex, it doesn't need to be that big. So let's focus on this area. Boom. So it gives a bunch of information. And a lot of information is public. But you can see a mailing address there. This is it's a company who owns this. So this tells me that okay, maybe they're an investor as well, and maybe they just have a bunch of land. Well, that's okay. So be it. Let that be. That's perfectly fine. Well, maybe they have a bunch of properties and they don't care about this land, and we need to reach out to them anyway. So what I'll do is I'll set up a nice email, and we can honestly let's go to Grok. Let's go to Gemini for this. Um, I'm using Mailchimp. Let's see. All right, no, let's do this one. So set up. set up in, let's say, a mailer. What do I want to do? I want to do make me a template for a direct to seller campaign. I want to shoot off an email to plan and offer cash. All right, I'm really like this is like no exaggeration. This is what I'm gonna do, right? It might not be this perfect example. I might tweak it a little bit, but here's an email, right? Hi, owner name. I'm reaching out because, boom, copy paste. We don't need to read everything, but copy paste. And then what I'll also do is go to fiverr.com. There's also Upwork. So let's type in skip tracing. Skip tracing for real estate. Oh, they're out there, right? So they are expensive, dear goodness. And I'm really not trying to pay that much. So, guys from Egypt, or let's see, what is skip tracing? Gosh, skip tracer. Yeah, 2 weeks. Yes, only. Let's do hourly. Boom. Okay. $15 an hour. That's manageable. Do an hour a week, right? That's not much, but manage what you can afford. So what I'm gonna do is get the list. I have a list. The list has the list has mailing addresses. And then I'm gonna hire the skip tracer to get that information and then find their contact information. So number one, for me to make this work is get the list. Get the list of the properties, get the list of the property owners. And then once I have the property owners, I need to find someone who will be able to find their information, their emails, their accurate mailing addresses, because it may not be accurate all the time, and then I'll then get a phone number, which I use Mailchimp for. Um, get a phone number so they're not everyone's blowing up my phone, and it's actually not that bad of an idea to use your own phone, but my goal is to make a business, so I'm trying to do my best to continue to be happy with my own life, be a good husband, and delegate things, right? When I first started this months ago and years ago, not necessarily looking for a lot, but trying to do a direct to seller campaign, I was doing everything myself, and the burnout, I didn't have the burnout yet, but I know now with me being busy with my W-2, it will happen. So I will delegate that, delegate someone finding their information, and then also delegate them reaching out to the owner, right? And my real expectation here is it's going to take 1,000, reaching out to 1,000 people to get one response. And then that one response might be a hell no, right? So it's gonna require patience, and that's okay, right? And then after a while, you see what works, see who responds, but make sure you always have the follow up. So I'm gonna build that system for my VA, virtual assistant, who I'll probably hire from Fiverr, who does all my posts for social media, and have him do a follow up. So I have a business email and I have an admin email, and they're going to be working with this all through the admin email. And then, they're going to ask me what to do, how to respond, and it's going to require some training, but it shouldn't require too much time. The most time that we're going to spend, well, let's say the most time I'm going to spend up front is just setting up the processes. And that's all I'll be focused on this week. But now you know how I'm going to do my direct to seller campaign. I'm going to use Fiverr. I'm going to use Upwork. I'm going to pay someone maybe an hour a week, and then eventually have them reach out to people. So when it comes to the direct to seller campaign, the focus is getting the list of the properties that I want, which I got from PropStream, as well as I'm getting from a realtor. And then not only get that list, but get their contact information from the owners of that list. Then once I have that, email and text and mailers, right? I'm going to start with email and text and then have automated emails go to them, just letting them know, or having a drip campaign, right? Because we don't want to just always ask, hey, are you selling a property? Because that'd be kind of idiotic. But what we do want to do is make sure they understand that we are in this for the long haul, right? It's going to take more than one conversation, more than two conversations. It's going to take multiple. And I know multiple people who've taken 2 to 3 years before anything truly came into fruition. So, I'm in this for the long haul, right? My goal is to do it this year and to make something happen this year. And I think it will happen. But for it to be a more consistent thing, it just can't stop because I'm gonna want to develop next year, and then year after that, and the year after that. So now you know what my goal is. Now you know what my process is. I showed you exactly the things I'm doing, where I got my list from, how I'm doing it, where I'm getting my number from, Mailchimp, and who's gonna be doing it for me, VA. So I'm trying to automate this where I'm not doing everything and have burnout. And I advise you to delegate as early as possible, no matter where you are in your investing journey. I'm here to find a lot to build. So, um, wherever you are in your development phase, but if it's not just development, anything you do when it comes to investing, automate it because I highly recommend it because then you're going to be able to truly have freedom. It's not freedom if you are in the business and in the work. You're going to be working on it, not in it. And in the next video, what I'm going to be focusing on is just making sure that I understand what I want to do and talking about the differences of a builder and a developer, because that's going to be very important. And it also is going to help everyone have clarity on what to expect and what roles that we need to play, as well as the teams that we want, and the people that we need to go after. Thanks, Stay Ready, fam. See ya.